Thank you for taking some time out to talk about The Machine. Was it a coincidence The Machine comes out around the same time as Transcendence? Another film which is very, very kind of similar in a way of, a human leaving their body and inhabiting a mechanical device?
No, it's definitely a coincidence, and we beat them. I don't know if that's on the record, but we beat them by quite a bit in the UPD, so we didn't know that we were going to be up against a Johnny Depp movie, and I'm kind of glad that we didn't, because that might have spooked our investors. But it's an interesting thing about making movies. You often see films about the same subject matter suddenly appearing at the same time, and it's very odd. I mean, I think that because I spent almost a year researching the subject matter and meeting people who are actually building intelligent machines for the government, and reading books on AI and stuff like that. I mean, it felt to me, the reason I made the film, the reason I wrote the script, is because it just seemed clear to me that these are issues and these are real world things that we're going to have to deal with over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And so I guess I wasn't the only person doing that research and thinking those thoughts. Although I haven't seen Transcendence yet, so I don't know if it's any good. Have you seen? Is it about AI in a similar way to The Machine, or is it different?
Kind of a weird film. He basically gets hurt and then dies of radiation poisoning, and his wife transfers his mind into a thing called PIN, and he becomes like an artificial intelligence, and he eventually uses his artificial intelligence and nanites in order to repair other people's bodies that are severely injured. And this way, he can transcend and become almost like a godlike figure. How was it working with the star of the movie from the TV series Arrow? Because that must have been pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I think she got the role in Arrow because of The Machine. So we cast her way before she was on that show. She sent in a tape, and it was just her audition tape for The Machine that made us cast her, because it was the best audition that we've seen. We've seen like 50 actresses for the role, and her tape was by far the best, because she really kind of understood to play the human side of the character, the vulnerable emotional side of The Machine, and that's why we cast her, because of that. And then of course it was a massive bonus to the production that she's an amazing gymnast and martial artist, and that was a real help, getting through our schedule, because it was only a 4.5-week shoot, and the film was made for less than £1 million. So compared to the Johnny Depp's movie, I guess I'd be very surprised if they spent less than that on food and transport. So we really needed Katie, someone like Katie Watts, to be able to kind of get through all the stunts. She did all of her own stunts, all of her own gymnastic work, like the backflip, the naked backflip, that was her. And we'd never have got through our schedule without someone able to do the physical side as well. And Toby is an actor that I've, again, this is before Black Sails, and I kind of just felt that no one had kind of given him a chance to show what a great actor he is. He's kind of been typecast a little bit after Die Another Day, and so I was really pleased that he responded to the script, and he clearly wanted to play a different type of character, which was fantastic.
There was the one thing, my co-host and I watched the film together, and the one thing we didn't quite understand is we felt as though in the beginning of the movie we were coming into like the second act of a larger storyline, whereas like the beginning of the movie didn't quite flow as well as the rest of the movie did.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those things that may have been a case of the test screenings. I think that the early parts of the original cut of the film were much longer, much more about the science, and after having test screenings, we just kind of felt like I just wanted to get on with it, get on to the heart of the story, and that actually there's perhaps too much science, too much explanation in the movie, and I wanted to get the emotional stuff, so I kind of pushed to kind of get to the story later rather than earlier. And part of me feels like I quite like the fact that you throw the audience into the deep end rather than with some momentum and mystery to events that are going on. And I think that the storyline with the cyborgs and Suri setting fire to the traitor, I think, because that's not something I told, I think some people respond to the movie and feel like they get worried because they're not really sure exactly what's going on. I think that unsettles them
she has the robot itself, the machine, has like two different personalities stuck into it, correct?
Well, not so much two different personalities. The idea is that they've copied Arthur's brain into the machine, but the machine, just because it's a copy, doesn't mean it's the same person. Because, I think a huge part of who we are is the whole nature of the nurture debate. If you take twins, for example, their neural mesh, their neurons share information exactly the same way. The map of their brains is often exactly the same, but there are documented cases of twins separated at birth. One grows up to be a criminal, a psychotic criminal. The other one grows up to be a doctor, and that's just because of the families that they were raised with. And so that was kind of part of what I was exploring with the character of the machine. She may have all the same neural connections as Arthur, but her own person because of the way that she has been brought up, both by Thompson and by Vincent.
What were some things that you wish you had done differently with the film, and some things that definitely worked that you're happy about?
Well, I wish we'd had more money, because it was made in such a low budget. I think that, it's one of the problems with that is that, getting it out to a larger audience is always going to be difficult. I had a kind of a more epic vision of what I'd like to, how I'd like the film to look and feel, and the locations that I'd use. More money would have kind of got a more epic, grander movie with perhaps more complex and thrilling action sequences. So I think, in that sense, that's not so much a regret, but I think that's a problem with the movie, is that its ambition wasn't matched by the budget we had. But it was all, it was difficult to raise that. So I'm glad that we managed to raise some money for the film. And stuff that I was happy with, I think I'm very pleased with the dancing sequence with the machine. Kind of becomes aware of her own body for the first time, and she touches the pool, and then glows as she dances. I think that's a great sequence. I think it's close to what I imagined when I wrote the scene, which was good. And the ending of the film, I think, is also satisfying as well. That's kind of how I imagined it when I wrote the story as well. So those two things, I think, lived up to my imagination when I was writing them.
What were some of the films that influenced you growing up?
I didn't go to film school, so I was, I've been influenced by a huge amount of filmmakers, because that was my film school, really, is watching movies. So definitely John Carpenter, definitely Martin Scorsese, Stanley Kubrick, huge influence, his movies. Ridley Scott, another massive influence on me as a filmmaker. Roman Polanski, David Lynch. So the list is pretty endless, but certainly those movies by those filmmakers, I come back to time and time again.
What would you say is your number one favorite science fiction film of all time?
Favorite science fiction movie is probably going to have to be Blade Runner, I would imagine. It's such a intriguing, mysterious film, such a beautiful film, and such an iconic one. I think that would have to be there in terms of one of my favorites. But also 2001 is a massively brilliant film as well, brilliant sci-fi movie. So those two, I guess.
Are you a big horror fan?
Yeah, I'm starting to I'm kind of prepping a horror movie at the moment, so I've seen hundreds of horror films recently, and I'm a big fan, a huge fan of The Shining, huge fan of The Exorcist. I thought The Conjuring was a really brilliant film recently, a great example of a recent horror movie. Do you recommend any good ones?
Yeah, you said The Conjuring was really good. In Fear is really good. It's directed by Jeremy Lovering, who directed directed the first episode of season 3 of Sherlock. And
I forgot about that. Is that the one with the two people in the car going out to the a country lane or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hunt that down. You're the second person who's recommended that movie. I'll have to find that one. Quite a recent one. It's like last year or something.
Yeah, definitely. And we're actually going to be showing Blade Runner at my movie theater coming up this fall.
No way, really?
Yep.
I'd love to see it again on a big screen. That'd be amazing.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time out to come on the show with us to talk about the machine.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for supporting the movie.
Awesome. No problem. You have a good day.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.